Okay, so hello guys, hello everyone, and good evening, guys. Good evening once again, and welcome back, guys, to Rio Academy. So today we are going to continue with our classes. So good evening, Sojana. So I'd also like to welcome all my friends who are joining us on YouTube, and also all my friends, guys, who are watching me simultaneously on app. Okay. So nonetheless, guys, as you all know that we at Rio Academy have been into the training services of PGCET examination for a large period of time now. So I think you are quite well aware of the strategies, the methodologies that we follow here at our academy. Okay. So this year, guys, number of students, number of the audience have really done up well. I hope you have also gone through their videos too, strategical videos, so that all those aspirants who are preparing for the PGCET examinations will develop up a well-defined plan. Okay. Nonetheless, guys, so today those guys who are watching me on YouTube, before starting up with today's class, guys, see, today we are going to be dealing up with a new part, a new topic, definitely. But before starting up with that, I'd like to tell you something regarding the subjects that we are going to be covering today. So as you all know, guys, for PGCET-MCA students, there are numerous topics which are really very important. One such topic that is important for PGCET-MCA is the part of trigonometry, guys. Yes, the normal trigonometry, and the inverse trigonometry. Anyhow, guys, trigonometry part is the part that we have already covered out on our app. Nonetheless, we are going to be covering up the inverse trigonometry format. Okay. So before starting up with today's class, guys, let me inform you guys something regarding ourselves, something regarding myself personally. So I'm an engineer, guys. Professionally, I am an engineer, and I'm an educator by passion. So teaching task has been an interesting aspect over me. That is why I have entered into this field, and definitely, guys, it's more than 6 years now. Okay. It's been about more than 6 years that I have been within this field of the competitive world. Not just for the PGCET examination, but for the UPSCs, CA, banking, and state public sector commission examinations, and so many more. Okay, so this is the experience that we are going to guide you. So within the previous years, guys, the PGCET examination that was conducted, so top 10 aspirants from Rio Academy are also the toppers for the entire Karnataka PGCET examinations. I hope you are well aware of that. See, especially I am highlighting about the marks, because that is mainly the thing that students usually focus on. Okay, that is not the only thing, apart from the fact that you have to be very strategical. You have to be very adamant with respect to the studies that you are going to be conducting. Okay, nonetheless, guys, so today we are going to be continuing along with the topic of inverse trigonometry. And those who are watching us for the first time on YouTube, guys, do subscribe to our channel, like the videos if you are able to understand. And all the classes, guys, those among you who want to join in at Rio Academy in order to get on with this coaching for PGCET examinations, PGCET MCA and MBA both, I'll be coaching the PGCET MCA aspirants only. Okay, so all the classes will be on an online basis. You would have to download the Rio app from the Google Play Store, and once you get the batch course, all the classes will be definitely conducted on an online basis, a daily basis, and every class will be available to you in a recorded format. And of course, after the completion of every class, guys, we'll be uploading the notes in the PDF formats. You can go through those, and soon we are going to upload the practice questions for the topics that we have already covered up. Okay, so nonetheless, guys, join into the WhatsApp group also, join into the Telegram channel also, so that all the aspirants are present there, so you can develop up a community. All right, so fine, guys. So now we are going to start up with a new topic today. Okay, so we are going to be dealing with today the part of inverse trigonometry, guys. Okay. Okay, yes. So say, before moving on to the part of inverse trigonometry, I implore you that you basically learn the trigonometry part first. Okay, only on the basis of understanding of trigonometry, it will be an easier task for you to understand the inverse, because inverse basically means the reverse format. Nonetheless, guys. Okay, see, I'll just consider an example, guys. Of course, it will not be asked in your examination, but I think it is important that you understand. See, you might be aware of the new topic, guys, known to be relations and functions. Okay, this is one of the topic that we have already learned through our high school level, and of course in the degree part 2, I hope. But nonetheless, I'm just going to go into the details so that it will be important for us in order to understand what inverse trigonometry is about. Okay, see here, guys. Suppose for an instant, okay, there was once a topic called as relations and functions. See, relations and functions in mathematics, what we do, guys, we try to relate each and every element. Suppose for example there are two digits here, 2 and 3. Of course, I'm telling you that is why they are digits, or it can also be 23 nonetheless. So there are two digits here, 2 and 3. In mathematics, what we do basically, we try to connect these two elements. What is the relationship that is existing or that can be existing in between these two given digits? Why we go out with the relation, that is the question. Yes, basically we go out with the relations, guys, because it will be easier in order to understand if we keep on relating. Alright, if we just keep on studying one particular digit, it will be a lifelong time of study. So we basically go out with relation. Now the question comes as to what do you mean by relations. Suppose, guys, see here, a relation is basically represented as R. Okay, a relation spelling starts with R, and hence it is also represented with R. So now relation, we are defining up an relation such that it is from A to B. Okay, relation such that A to B. Alright, and what is the condition? The condition is being given X belongs to A, Y belongs to B, and also it's given that X square is equals to Y. Alright, of course, guys, this is not in your syllabus, but this is very important in order to understand the concept of inverse trigonometry. So we are defining out an relationship here, relationship in between A and B. Suppose I'll take this set or this group to be A and this group to be B. Now here we have defined a relationship from A to B, correct? From A to B we are defining a relationship, and what is that relation? Relation R. According to the condition given, X belongs to A. It means that all the elements which are present in this particular group or set A, alright, are known to be X. All the elements in set A are known to be belonging to the set A, which is known to be X, right? And Y belongs to B. It means that all the elements that have been given here, all the elements that have been given in set B, okay, all the elements that have been given in set B will be known as Y. Now the condition is given according to the relationship that we are establishing, X square is equals Y. It means that if any element in set A is being squared, the answer should be present in set B. Only then and only those particular elements are said to be in relation. For example, negative 2. See here, X is nothing but negative 2. So negative 2 square is nothing but 4. Is 4 present here? Yes, of course it is present. So we can say, according to this given particular condition, negative of 2 is related to 4 correct? Negative 2 in set A is related to positive 4 in set B. Why? Because it is satisfying the one given particular condition. Okay, and now the next element in A, which is nothing but negative 1. So negative 1 whole square, guys, is nothing but 1. And is 1 present in B? Yes, it is present. So this given condition is satisfied. So we can say negative 1 is related to 1. Alright, now 0 square. See, why are we squaring it, guys? Because it is given in the condition. We have to square it. X square will be equal to 1. So 0 square will be 0, but that 0 is not present in B. Okay, so there is no relationship in between this 0 and set B. And now 1 square, once again, guys, is nothing but 1, and that here is present. And once again 2 square is nothing but 4, and that 2, guys, is already present here. Okay, now so now here what basically means to say, if you look in this, each and every element of A is not connecting with the elements of set B. Okay, we define a relationship. Relation is known basically to be such, basically it is just is connecting. See, this condition is being satisfied. Elements in set A and elements in set B are connected, but not each and every element is connected here. 0 is free, correct? So basically this connection itself is known to be relation. And what is known to be a function? Now we are coming to what is a function. What do you mean by function? Function means this set A, each and every element of this set A should be connected to set B. Okay, every relation is not a function, understand, but every function is a relation, because function means each and every element in this given particular set A, from where you are defining this set, from A to B, you are defining a relationship from A to B. So this A, all the elements or all the numbers in this given set should be in a relation with the set B. Only such a relation will be known to be a function. Alright, so this is basically all that you need to know. Now coming back to the part of trigonometry. In trigonometry, how are we going to find out the usual? See, we have also dealt about trigonometric functions, guys, right? So in case of trigonometry, we have come across the trigonometric function, basic trigonometric functions, sine, cos and tan. They are known to be functions because they satisfy these given conditions. See, for example, if I take in one condition here, y is equals to sine inverse of x. Sine inverse of x. Inverse basically means the reciprocal. Understand it in this way. Inverse, guys, is nothing but basically the reciprocal, 1 upon sine. See, in case of indices, we usually used to write one value here. If a raised to m is an index, if it is given, then a raised to m will also be equal to 1 upon a to the power of negative m. Correct? On the basis of exponents, if you look in, the positive sign of this particular power or the exponent just changes itself. If it is positive, and if you take out the reciprocal, it will be negative. In the same way, if you take out a to the power of negative m, then it will be equal to what? 1 divided by a to the power of positive m. Correct? This is it. But basically here I am not saying sin x is equals to 1 upon sin x. That is not the right thing here. It is just to understand you. Inverse means we basically take out the reciprocal, the reverse of that format. Okay, just for your understanding. Now look at this. Suppose I am taking a function y is equals to sine inverse of x. It means what? Suppose this is set A and this is set B. All the elements which are given in this particular set A should be belonging to all the elements or some given elements in set B. Only then it is known to be a function. Okay. Okay, so see here, in this set I'll take in some values, 0, and then I'll take in 1 upon 2, root 3 upon 2, 1, and then it keeps on going on, so on, so on, so on, and so on, up till infinity. Okay, up till positive infinity. We have all the elements here. in one particular setting. And then on the negative side, we'll take in negative 1 upon 2, negative of root 3 upon 2, and then negative of 1, and then so on, so on, so on, up till negative of infinity. The value keeps on coming and coming. Okay, directly we are taking that to be what is negative format of set A. Okay, and now we'll take in one more thing. We'll take out angles here. In this set B, we'll take out angles 0, and then it comes to pi upon 6, then pi upon 4, pi upon 2, so on, so on, and so on. Alright, of course there is a pi upon 3, but we are just taking it in this manner. So negative of pi upon 6, negative of pi upon 4, and negative of pi upon 2, so on, so on. Of course it also keeps on repeating up till the value of infinity. So now what we are going to do here, if you just look in, guys, y is equals to sine inverse. Okay, y is equals to sine inverse of x. This is basically the value that we are considering. So inverse means what? It means that sine inverse of 0. If I take it in this way, sine inverse of 0, it means at what particular angle the value of sine is 0. Okay, at what particular angle this value of sine is 0. At what angle the value of sine is 0. That is what it basically means. So at angle 0 degree, the value of sine is what? 0 degrees. If you just stick it on the right hand side, we can also write it as sine theta equals 0. Correct? At what angle the value of sine is 0? Basically it is 0. Sine 0 is 0. Right? We just take this sign on the right hand side like a reciprocate format. Reciprocal. I can just told you. Sine inverse of 0 is equals theta. What is the angle theta at which the sine value is 0? Or you can also say it in this manner. What value of sine is equal to the particular given angle? Alright. So I hope you're well aware with that. Okay. So see here. At 0 degrees, the value of sine is 0. And now guys, at what angle the value of sine is 1 upon 2? The value of sine is 1 upon 2 at 30 degrees, which is nothing but pi upon 6. Right? 1 upon 2. The value of sine is 1 upon 2 at 30 degrees. And in the same case, the value of sine is root 3 divided by 2 at 60 degrees. Correct? It will be somewhere here in between pi upon okay, it will be somewhere here more than pi upon 4, right? Okay, it will lie somewhere upside. Okay, nonetheless, but at 60 degrees the value of sine is root 3 divided by 2, and at 90 degrees the value of sine is 1. Okay, now at 90 degrees the value of sine will be 1. Correct? And now if you also take it in the negative format, guys, the negative values of sine will also be satisfied. Just in case here, 1 upon 2. At what angle the value of sine is negative 1 upon 2? Definitely it will be in negative form. So I'll take this to be negative pi upon 6. And negative root 3 upon 2 will be negative 60 degrees. Okay, somewhere here, somewhere along here. Not pi upon 4, pi upon 3 the answer will be. So negative 1 will be connected to negative of pi upon 2. Alright. So now as you can see, guys, the entire value of the trigonometric function sine will always lie in between +1 and in between -1. Okay, the value, the function of sine will never cross these values, because as you go through the trigonometric table, you also know that the maximum value of sine can be what? It can be 1, positive 1, sine 90. Okay, and what can be the least value, guys? Of course it will be in the negative form, negative 1, when the angle is what? Negative of 90 degrees. Okay, but if you understand, if you know, on the basis of quadrants, in the first quadrant, second, third and fourth, first and second quadrant, the value of sine will be positive. Correct? Trigonometric function sine is positive in the second and the first quadrant. Okay, but the value of trigonometric function sine will be negative in third and fourth quadrant. Correct? What I mean to say is, even if you want the value of sine of 180 degrees, you can find it out, right? And even if you want the value of sine of 270 degrees, you can definitely find it out on the basis of the sine conventions. Okay now, but as you look here, we are defining the relationships from what? Negative infinity, correct? We are including all the formats here, negative infinity, and it moves up to what? Positive infinity. Okay, but if you remember guys, we can call only those relationships to be functions which have a well defined path. It means this infinity, this cannot be called as a function. Why? Because each and every element should be connected to the given particular set A and B. If there are two different sets, they are said to be in function, or they are known to be functions only if all the given elements in set A and set B are completely related to each other. None of the elements should be free. ಯಾವುದು ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟು ಫ್ರೀ ಆಗಿ ಇರಬಾರದು. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟು one after the other or one to one, they should be connected. Okay, but if you can see here, positive infinity and infinity, the values here, these values are not at all connected. These values are idle here, right? Values beyond -1, okay, they are idle. And here values beyond what guys? Pi upon 2, they are not idle. Of course we can connect them. But here what we do, mathematicians, what they have done is, they have defined up this value. Okay, all the mathematicians guys, with the study of trigonometry, we have taken pi upon 2 and negative pi upon 2, these to be the maximum values of the angles. On the basis of this only we can define further more angles. If you remember allied angles guys, 180 degree, or suppose sine of 210 degrees, we can write this sine of 210 as what? Sine of 180 plus of 30, correct? Right? And this 180 once again can be written as what? 2 pi upon 2. So what we have done here, inverse trigonometry, if you see here, they are not functions, because there are elements which are free here. Suppose 2, 3, okay, it is free. 2 and 3 in A is not related to these different parts of B here. Pi upon 2, pi upon next it comes to 10, pi upon 12, pi upon 15, and so on. So we cannot practically call them to be functions. But like I said, we have assumed everything here. Okay, we have assumed the range here. Of course the range remains same, +1 to -1, that is the maximum value. But we have assumed the angles here, pi upon 2 and negative pi upon 2. We are not going to look beyond these angles. We are not going to look beyond these angles. We have assumed that, remember, we have assumed. And only then, if you stop it here, pi upon 2 and negative pi upon 2, then you can see all the elements in set B and all the elements in set A will be related to each other. Okay, you take out any value, you take out 0.5, you took out a 0.5612 or something, all the values that lie in between +1 and -1, they will be connected to the values that lie in between pi upon 2 and negative pi upon 2 angle. Okay, and this we have done what? By assuming. We have assumed them. So basically guys, if you see these inverse values that we are going to study, sine inverse, like I told you, this is not basically a function. We have assumed them to be a function. In order to be a function, all the elements in set A and set B should be related to each other. They should be connected to each other. We are not going to go into further more details of relations and functions. This basically is more than enough in order to understand. Okay, so always remember guys, inverse trigonometric functions are basically assumed functions. We have assumed the values here. Okay, they are not functions by themselves. We have assumed the values. Alright, so range, as you can remember guys, what is the range here? Range of angle. For inverse trigonometric function, the range will be what? The range will be negative pi upon 2 and pi upon 2. Okay, we have assumed this. And what will be the domain? The domain will be what? +1 and -1. It means all the values lie in between +1 and -1, and all the angles lie in between negative pi upon 2 and positive pi upon 2. Okay, so this is important. I hope you have understood this guys. So basically you don't have to by heart it out, but here is just a typical representation of what the domain and what the range is. Okay now, so as you can see here guys, sine inverse, the domain is -1 to +1 and range is negative pi upon 2 to pi upon 2. Okay, and here guys, if you can observe here the brackets here that they have given, okay, this is a square bracket, and this, as you can see here, this is what, this is just a simple bracket, so it is known to be what, open and closed value. Okay, open and closed value. It suggests what guys, it suggests that tan inverse of x, the value of tan, the value of tan inverse of x, okay, it means what, negative pi upon 2 to pi upon 2 positive. See, the tan inverse value basically it lies from negative infinity to positive infinity, correct? At 90 degrees the value of tan will be what, it will be positive infinity. So at negative of 90 degrees the value of tan will be what, it will be negative of infinity. So basically it means what, the values keep on rising up here for the function of tan. This open bracket here represents the function tan keeps on rising up its value infinity to infinity, but for our satisfaction we only consider it up it till what, pi upon 2, only up till 90 degree we consider that. Okay, so this is just a typical representation guys, no need to go into further more details. I hope you have already gone through this in your previous studies. Nonetheless, it was important for you to understand what a function means. Trigonometric values are known as functions because they satisfy all the conditions. Inverse trigonometric values, they are functions out of assumptions. Okay, we have assumed them, we have assumed the values, the range is going to be from what, pi upon 2 to negative pi upon 2. Okay, beyond this also the values keep on coming, but we are going to assume that. Okay, so that is all guys, the importance of what inverse trigonometric function is. Okay, this will not be asked in your examination. Of course, these values might be, what is the domain, or what is the range of cos inverse, what is the range of cosecant inverse. These are the values that they will ask you, but why is it known to be a function, that will not be asked. But you needed to know that, that is why I explained it to you, and I hope you have understood that too. Okay, so if you got any doubts guys, you can ask. Okay, so apart from this guys, I hope you haven't got any further doubts, but nonetheless we are just going to look into certain rules here of inverse trigonometry which are going to be important for your PGCET examination. Let us call them to be the properties guys. Okay, and I hope it is visible. So properties of inverse trigonometric function. Okay, see here guys, properties. So see here guys, basically the first property what it is suggesting the inverse of a normal function. Say sine inverse, this sign here is highlighting the inverse value, right? And the second sign value here is highlighting the normal function. So what it means here is, whenever an inverse function and whenever a normal function are faced to each other, only the value will remain. Okay, sine inverse of sine, basically it means what guys, basically see, sine inverse if we take to be 1 upon sine, and this is sine of x. See, sine and sine, they'll both get cancelled out and only the value will be remaining is x. And of course once again, sine inverse is not 1 upon sine. Sine inverse is not 1 upon sine. I am just saying it out because just to understand. Okay, just for your understanding, sine inverse is not 1 upon sine. It is not going to follow up the indices rule guys, it is completely different for that. Okay, so as you can see here, sine inverse of sine, tan inverse of tan, secant inverse secant, and so on for these trigonometric functions, inverse trigonometric functions too, the value is going to be x. Whenever inverse and a normal function face each other, only the value will remain on x, x and x. Okay, so sine inverse, tan inverse and secant, where is it, yeah, cos inverse. Okay, sine inverse, cos inverse and tan inverse, these are the basic inverse trigonometric function. These are the basic functions, right? So the inverse of those will also form the basic inverse functions. And cot inverse, cosecant and secant inverse, these are what, the secondary. Okay, secondary inverse functions. Alright, this is the first property. Coming back to this second property guys, second property basically goes on for the reciprocal values. Reciprocal values of what? Reciprocal values of the inward function here. Okay, sine inverse of 1 upon x. See, what is the reciprocal of sine, guys? Basically in trigonometry, reciprocal of sine is nothing but cosecant. Okay, now even in case of inverse trigonometric functions, this connection will remain to be same. The connection that we have in between the basic trigonometric function, primary and secondary trigonometric function, will also remain same even in inverse values, but only the values that have been given here, they will change out. They will take out the reciprocal form. See, sine inverse will turn out to cosecant inverse. Even in the normal functions, reciprocal of sine was cosecant. Okay, but whenever the functions change here, guys, instead of the entire function being the reciprocal, only the values will turn out to be the reciprocal form here. Okay. Sine inverse of 1 upon x. What is sine related to? Cosecant, and 1 upon x will remain to be x. And then tan and cot are related in normal function. Reciprocal of tan is nothing but cot in normal function. And here also, guys, tan inverse and cot inverse are related, but they are not related by the reciprocal value. They are related directly. Instead, the values that have been considered, they will take out the reciprocal form. Tan inverse of 1 upon x will be equal to cot inverse of x. And here also the same thing, secant and cos are related. 1 upon x will become x. Okay, cos and secant, of course, they are related, and once again vice versa, guys. If cos inverse is 1 upon x, secant will be x. If secant inverse is 1 upon x, cos inverse will be x. So basically they are vice versa of each and every other function. So this is basically the second property. No need to by heart it, just understand it logically. Okay, now? Okay, now coming back to the third property. Okay, see here, guys. So third property, this is the sign convention. Whenever an angle is given to us in a negative format, okay, whenever an angle has been given to us in a negative format, negative in this sense on the basis of direction again, okay, then how the inverse trigonometric functions will behave, that is the condition here. If you remember, guys, in the normal trigonometric function, only the cos function, cos of negative theta and its reciprocal, secondary, okay, secant of negative theta, only this were to be positive, only these two functions would be positive, right? Cos of negative theta is cos theta, secant of negative theta would have been secant theta in the normal trigonometric functions. But in case of the inverse trigonometric values, guys, if you can look in here, cos and secant, they are what? They will still be positive here. Okay, pi minus of secant inverse. Here in the normal function, they were what? Cos of negative theta was cos plus theta, secant of negative theta was secant plus theta. Here what happens is only they are adding out an additional pi minus of secant inverse and pi minus of cos inverse. Apart from that, all the other trigonometric functions will definitely be negative. So negative tan inverse, sine inverse of negative x, negative sine, cot inverse of negative x is negative cot, cosecant inverse of negative x is negative of cosecant inverse of x. Only the cos and secant function will take in the value of pi minus of secant inverse. Okay, pi minus of secant and pi minus of cosecant inverse. Alright, so this is basically the third property, and that is all that you needed to know about inverse trigonometric functions. Of course, guys, with respect to the formulas, definitely there are some standard formulas. Those formulas also you need to remember. Okay, that is going to happen with your practice. Don't need to by heart the formulas. So basically these are some of the formulas, guys, that we'll be using around while solving the inverse trigonometric functions. So see here, guys, as you might have seen the identity functions in the normal trigonometric functions. Okay, sine square plus cos square is 1, 1 plus tan square is secant square. Okay, yes, 1 plus tan square is secant square, 1 plus cot square is cosecant square. Those were the identity function. But here in the case of inverse function, guys, sine inverse and cos inverse will be pi upon 2. We are not going to consider 1 here. Okay, the range here guys, in case of inverse trigonometric functions, the range will be what? It will be the angles. Okay, but in case of normal trigonometric functions, the range would have been the values. Alright, so sine inverse and cos inverse, it will be 1. Secant inverse cosecant, it will be 1 in terms of angle. Okay, in terms of angle, it will be pi upon 2. Alright, tan inverse and cot inverse, it will be pi upon 2. So basically guys, everything remains to be same, not in the square format. Sine and cos are connected, secant, cosecant are connected, tan and cot are connected to each other. Alright, sine and its opposite, cosine, correct? Cosecant and its opposite, secant. Tangent and its opposite, cotangent. Okay, the co word stands for opposite here guys, opposite format. The normal format and opposite format both together will give us the value of pi upon 2a in the case of inverse trigonometric function. Alright, these are known to be the inverse identity functions. Okay now, and then guys, these are the two basic formulas which are more popular while solving the inverse trigonometric functions. Everything remains to be same. The only thing is tan inverse x plus tan inverse y, the entire tan inverse function will be outside here. Okay, tan a plus tan b divided by 1 minus tan a into tan b, that was the value in normal function. Here the same values are remaining, only thing is inverse function has completely been taken out. Alright, tan inverse x minus tan inverse y, similarly while it was in normal function, here what is happening, entire tan inverse function is being taken out. Alright, that is the only major change here, and this is just an additional property which can be used in order to solve complex questions, but I don't think we are going to be needing that because we'll solve with the help of basic formulas only. Okay, these basic formulas are very important. Alright, so basically that is all guys that you need to know about inverse trigonometric functions. So from here on we are going to be starting out the problems guys. So problem solving is the only thing here, and apart from that, basically there are some points here, few more here and there, that will keep on letting you know once we start solving up the problems. Okay, so now furthermore we'll continue on the class guys on our app. Basically those guys who are watching us on YouTube too guys simultaneously, I hope you are able to understand guys, but nonetheless if you are unable to understand, let us know in the comment section. Okay now. So do subscribe to the channel guys and like the video if you are able to understand. If not, then once again let us know guys in the comment section. So I hope those Rio who are watching me on app are able to understand. If you have any doubts, Miss Neha, Sakshi, you can let me know. Okay, that will be it for today guys on YouTube. Do subscribe to our channel, like the videos once again, and let us know your comments guys in the comment section. If you want to join up the batch course, download up the Rio app guys. The course has been started. Lakshya batch is the batch that has been conducting on. I've covered up a few of the more of topics, but nonetheless we are going to revise everything. Okay, so if you want to join in guys for PGCET-MCA and MBA, you can join in now. Contact us at the contact number which has been given in your description. Alright guys, so that will be it for today guys. We'll be back again once again in a new session. Till then, have a great time guys. Do take care. Bye guys.